The overseer of the Vice Presidency, Eja Fatoumata Jallow Tambajang, on Thursday launched the Gambia's first ever development think tank at State House in Banjul. The ceremony was graced by cabinet ministers, other high government officials, among a host of others. Ominjai covered the event on files in this report.
During his presidential campaign in November, President Adam Barrow's coalition government made a series of positive promises to the Gambian people. 6 months into office, the new government has already started creating waves as they embark on various development projects. The Gambia National Think Tank is one of the projects initiated by the new government, led by President Barrow, in a bid to fulfill the campaign promises.
Our response and approach as a nation must be innovative and well-measured to usher in a new era of hope, transparency and development through an all-inclusive process. And I think precisely this is what part of the rationale for this think tank. We need to connect our people. We need to ensure citizen engagement and responsiveness to government policies and programs. And I believe this is one vehicle that will take us through.
The initiative has a goal of promoting democratic and human rights approaches, as well as collective national responsibility to address the existing acute national brain drain. This is in line with the new government's plan to build a new Gambia through harnessing and maximizing the use of Gambian-owned expertise at all levels for sustainable development.
This think tank being inaugurated today is not just an institution, but it is a philosophy, it is a vision, and it is a strategy initiated by this new government to help to champion what we refer to as evidence-based policy making through a people-centered research, advocacy, networking, and strategic partnership.
The launch of the think tank project team promoting nationally driven development through democracy, good governance, and rule of law marks a milestone achievement for New Gambia as the project is set to transform lives and livelihoods of the citizens. Madam Fatoumata Jallow Tambajang, the overseer of the Office of the Vice President and Minister for Women's Affairs, represented Adam Barrow, and this is what she said when she took to the podium.
Gambians have decided for change. A change that must bring solutions and rejuvenate our dying economy and failed policies. They have decided for change that must ensure the transformation of our political, education and social systems to promote our values as one people with a history and identity, engaging through engagement of our local communities in nation building for unity and for development.
The ceremony witnessed a drama presentation by Red Cross Volunteer Theatre Group and recitation of poems by young poets. It is a milestone achievement under the new Gambia led by President Adam Barrow. Gambians are optimistic of more developmental projects that will address the needs of the citizenry and take the country to a higher level. Ominjai, GRTS.
Gambia has signed multi-million-dollar loan agreements with a number of multilateral lending agencies for the funding of major development projects. This was disclosed by the Minister of Information, Demba Ali Jawo, after the conclusion of the cabinet meeting at Fujara. Mohamed Jallow reports.
Cabinet ministers conveyed at the presidency for their weekly meeting to decide matters of state. The meetings are conducted behind closed doors. After lasting much into the evening, the Minister of Information and Communications Infrastructure, Demba Ali Jawo, and is also the government spokesman, so the government has approved over $100 million loan agreements with the International Development Fund, the Saudi Fund, and the African Development Fund.
The Minister of Finance also led 3 loan agreements. One was with the IDA, that's the International Development Association, which is an arm of the World Bank. And it was the loan agreement was in 2 components. One was $5.4 million which is an integrated financial management system. And the other aspect of it was $8.1 million, which is an education project.
The Saudi Fund has agreed to provide $90 million for the rehabilitation of the Banjul International Airport and another $2 million secured from the African Development Bank for institutional support. The minister also revealed that Cabinet has approved a paper presented by the Minister of Interior for the establishment of a forensic lab in the Gambia to address problems of forensic testing.
He's got a draft agreement, a draft contract with a Senegalese company who are prepared to set up a forensic laboratory in this country. As you know, there is a problem of forensic testing in this country. For instance, recently there were some exhumation of bodies who were killed and illegally buried in this country. They were exhumed, but because there is no forensic laboratory in this country, it was extremely difficult to identify the bodies.
Additionally, two memorandums of understanding have been signed with the governments of Senegal and Turkey. This, as informed by Demba Ali Jao, seeks to improve the fisheries sector in the Gambia by providing training for Gambians engaged in fishing and its related activities.
Justice Kumbasila Kamara has adjourned the trial against the NIA 9 to July 18th. This came after lawyer Iseka announced the absence of lead counsel. The defense did not wholly agree with the deferral as the counsel for the third accused, lawyer Edward Gomez, proposed the application for adjournment. State attorneys had no objection for the motion and left it to the discretion of the court, which granted the application to adjourn and asked parties to submit their briefs within 7 days. 9 former top intelligence officials are facing a 12-count indictment in the alleged torture and murder of solo standing at the High Court. Deputies of the National Assembly earlier today converged for the second ordinary session for the 2017 legislative year. The session witnessed intense deliberations between lawmakers and 4 cabinet ministers, including the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, who led the draft revised 2017 estimates of revenue and expenditure of the government. Ibrahim Jallo was at the Assembly chambers in Banjul, and he now reports.
By a thorough question and answer segment involving 4 cabinet ministers on issues linked to their action plans and operational activities, the Minister of Higher Education was the first to take the podium, responding to questions on the ministry's feasibility studies for the spread of schools and skill centers across the country and the construction of the University of the Gambia, Faraba campus.
Considering the impasse, this 3-year span is going to extend, and does it have any cost implications?
There are no absolutes, in terms of timeline relative to construction work. You have to choose right now. They have the rains going on. It will definitely impact on the works because when it is too heavy, they would have to stop and there could be delays. But then there is an estimation. The reasonable time within the contractual period is 3 years.
Next was the Minister of Agriculture, Omar Jallo. Deputies expressed concern about the challenges facing farmers, especially cattle owners, citing scarcity of water and the need for feeder roads and market access.
Wunni West, Wunni generally, is a highly cattle-populated region. Cattle owners' cattle spend the whole of the dry season in the Yaminas. Therefore, they lose one vital thing, that is manure to increase the fertility of our land.
Farmers rearing animals in the Iliasa constituency face serious problems of water shortage, especially during the dry season. Could the Honorable Minister for Agriculture tell this August Assembly whether his government considers providing drinking points at various strategic locations to ease farmers' burden?
23 solar power boreholes will be provided by the ministry through its projects, and a further 3 harvesting ponds will be provided in the Upper River region. In the National Development Plan of this government, there are plans to construct 66 boreholes from 2018 to 2021 countrywide.
The minister did inform us that
80 packages of machinery and farm implements are to be deployed nationwide. Could he elucidate what each package entails?
Each package should comprise of tractors, power tillers, and other small equipment, and most importantly, spare parts. Because we have seen that there are a lot of tractors in Gambia, but 95% of them are all non-functional because of the lack of spare parts and the lack of training for people to be able to operate them properly and maintain them properly.
Jallo further stated that the government has reduced the cost of a 50-kilogram bag of fertilizer from $950 to $700 to help farmers. The Minister of Petroleum and Energy was asked to shed light on the current erratic electricity and water supply. The Minister of Information, Demba Ali Jao, answered questions on media reform.
To the Honorable Minister for Information and Communication Infrastructure, informed this August Assembly, if his ministry together with GRTS management has any plan to ensure that both the TV and radio have nationwide coverage. There are plans to ensure nationwide coverage for both television and radio. Already, the digital migration process is ongoing and will cover the whole nation once completed by the end of 2017.
The session ended with the laying of the revised 2017 draft estimates of government revenue and expenditure seeking approval from the House.
The previous budget did not take into account any budget support for the government for 2017, but this revised budget includes a budget support to the tune of $2.4 billion from our partners. Most of this support will come from the IMF, the World Bank, EU, and the African Development Bank.
The draft was unanimously considered and adopted by the Assembly. Ibrahima Jallo, GRTS News.
The Office of the Inspector General of Police informs the general public that all vehicles that are plying the road and are tinted either from factory or been tinted by vehicle owners must obtain clearance from the police or pull up the tint. A full statement from the police reminds all those who are using it unauthorized tinted glasses is prohibited by the law. All are urged to comply as the police will be on the ground to enforce the directive. Following Wednesday's GRT's news story on the waste management challenges in the Greater Banjul area and Brikama, the Public Relations Officer of Brikama Area Council, Modu Jonga, has told GRTS the steps being taken to address the problem. The Medical Research Council, the Gambia, is set to embark on research that is expected to protect newly born babies from infections. Residents of Kanifing Municipality on Thursday were sensitized to the project. Louis Mendy has more.
This drama tells the story of a couple who, out of ignorance, prefer traditional herbs to Western medicine. And as a result, the pregnant wife never visited hospital for prenatal care, but instead drinks concoction from native doctors. Children born to such mothers often suffer from infections which medical practitioners said could be harmful to their health. To help protect newly born babies from such infections, the Medical Research Council Unity Gambia, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, on Tuesday launched the Neonate and EPIC HIPC projects. Circular Hospital is the chosen center for this exercise.
These two projects are really looking at the mechanism of protection against infection in children. So, and this will produce knowledge that may actually help in protecting these children against infection. So again, as I said, producing this knowledge is very important because we will be able to set up something to protect, against infection and also improve the health of our children.
The importance of research cannot be overemphasized, even in the words of our respected Imam Babali. We know it is a scientific way to improve or develop new methods of healthcare. It gives answers to specific questions on how to prevent, diagnose, or treat diseases and disorders. In addition, it contributes to knowledge and progress on diseases and disorders, and it could also persuade someone to fund a research project.
Residents of the Kanifing municipality were sensitized to the project. Present at the event were religious leaders, parents, local authorities, and others will speak in the promotion of health.
This hospital is a 110-bedded hospital that is delivering services in surgical department, internal medicine, obstetric and gynecological services are delivered here. Pediatric services, that is child health, are also delivered here, for which today's event has a lot to do with.
An overview of the project by Dr. Kala explains how the scheme is designed.
Now, we believe that babies who are born too small or babies that are born too early may not be able to do the same trick of stealing the iron away from the bacteria. And we believe that this may be at least part of the reason why babies who are born too small or who are born too early, why they are more likely to die than full-term and normal babies.
MRC holds the belief that research produces knowledge, and that knowledge is the basis for development, hence the neonate and EPIC HIPC projects.
The thank you I want to make is to the people of the Gambia. Your cooperation with research is famous around the world. You have been so forthcoming with helping us to do our research. We come to you, we ask for blood samples, we ask for saliva samples, we ask for all sorts of samples, breast milk samples or whatever. We ask if we can follow you and see what you're eating all the time. And you say yes.
It is hoped that results from the research will be of great help to the country, as investment on human capital is regarded one of the surest ways for sustainable development. Louis GRTS.
While human activities are partly causing the disappearance of our forest cover, the Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region of China is making remarkable efforts in fighting deforestation. Rohi Bitley visited Inner Mongolia and she reports on the developments there.
Inner Mongolia, the birthplace of China's Murtan-Mandi culture and grassland civilization, is also a region that is battling desertification, in which enormous success has been registered. Deserts were known to be barren area of landscape with hostile living conditions for plants and animals. But that's not the case at a Kubuchi Desert. Well, going down memory lane, it used to be 30 years ago, but thanks to the settling of a private company under the approval of the Chinese central government, most parts of the desert have been transformed from a dry land to a green land. Hence the significance of public-private partnership.
It has been 30 years. The Elian company has working in Kubuchi Desert.
This used to be the house of people in the desert few decades ago, but that's now a thing of the past. The coming of the Elian company opened new gates of development to them, as they now enjoy a new village, school comprising different stages of learning, all built by the company for them. In the past, people in the Kubuchi Desert of Inner Mongolia had no road networks connecting them to other parts of their region and China in general, increasing the poverty level of settlers. With the services they render to the company, they are now well paid with better conditions. The amazing work done in the desert couldn't go unnoticed, as the company officials put it, sand can turn to gold, only if properly utilized. Most of the plants grown in the desert with their high-tech equipment are used for Chinese traditional medicine. Besides that, the area now attracts tourists as they build a 7-star hotel in the desert with beautiful parks, among few places you can enjoy unfiltered air in China. Recognized by the UN for the amazing work they're doing, the MN company is not only turning a non-arable land to an arable land, but it's also making good use of the sun through these many solar panels with an annual generation capacity of 350 million kilowatts. Having such in the Gambia could make a world of difference in the country's energy sector. Well, as we are blessed with enough grass for our livestock to graze and to make our lands green, the grassland company in Inner Mongolia is also making remarkable developments in its research on grass that are suitable to grow in their lands, and this is now enjoyed by many communities. Environment protection is very vital for the future of any country, which can also be lucrative if the proper know-how is utilized. But the sad irony is, while places like Inner Mongolia are striving hard to restore their green areas and also fight deforestation, countries in Africa, and the Gambia in particular, seem to have their work cut out as they continue to contend with the indiscriminate exploitation of their natural forest cover. Rahi Bite, reporting for Justice News from the Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region, China.
We will be back with sports news right after this break. Stay tuned.